Good morning and welcome back to the channel and welcome to Alton Towers Resort where I'm here today. It's a Sunday, it's the 1st of June. The weather is quite nice, although it is a bit cloudy, but there's a nice breeze, it's not too hot. And today I'm on my own, I'm a loner. I did come with Maisie and two of her friends and they've gone off to do their thing because I am the boring old dad. So they've abandoned me, so I thought I'll take this opportunity to go around Alton Towers and sample the single rider queues. There's 6 attractions here at Alton Towers that have single rider. There's 3 new for this year, 3 new for this season that started in March when the park opened. And that's Galactica, Oblivion and the new top spin ride Toxicator. And those are now in addition to the other 3 single rider options, which are 13, Smiler and Spinball Whizzer. So there's 13, Smiler, Spinball Whizzer, Galactica, Oblivion and Toxicator. So I am going to try and do all 6 of those on single rider today. And what I'm going to do, just to compare the actual queue times, there's obviously posted queue times for the normal queue, the standard regular queue, and I'm going to take note of each standard advertised queue times for all 6 of the single rider lines. Sorry, I'm going to keep looking down because I'm walking on the grass and there's a lot of bird poo, a lot of goose poo all over the floor. So yeah, I'm going to check all the 6 single rider queues, have a look at the advertised time, the posted wait time for each one, and then I'm going to enter the single rider queue for each one, and I will see how quicker, or may not be the case, is single rider than standard queue. So I thought that might be quite helpful for you guys to see as well, because I've never really done single rider here, so I myself don't know just how quick single rider can be. And it seems pointless me joining the regular queue for those 6 attractions anyway when I'm on my own anyway, so I may as well try the single rider just to see if it is quicker, and I'll let you know. I'll post the difference between the advertised queue time and the single rider lines. So I think it is a fairly quiet day today. It's about 10:30 now, park opened at 10, and we have done 2 attractions already. Me and the 3 girls went and did 13 and Rita. That is our usual plan of action, to sort of head to the back of the park to do those and then work our way forward, just because the queues are smaller at the back of the park first thing in the morning. And both were a 5-minute wait. It was almost straight on for both Rita and 13, and they was awesome. So now I'm just going to have a little wander around, and then we're going to head to the 6 single rider queues and see if it actually makes a difference. See if it's worth doing the single rider queue, and see how quick you actually get on the ride compared to the standard advertised queue times. So let's head in. Okay, see what I mean about the clouds? Look, it's a pretty cloudy, grey, dull day, but I'm just in a hoodie and I'm quite warm. It's not a cold day, and hopefully the rain will hold off until a little bit later on anyway. Park opening times today is 10 until 6 p.m. and we arrived at about 9:30. We got on the monorail from the car park and we were straight on that, straight in, no queue anywhere. We've not had to queue for anything longer than 2-3 minutes. So from this point we've got the single rider lines, the single rider attractions are Spinball Whizzer over there, you've got Smiler and Oblivion over here, you've got 13 in the Dark Forest just over there, which we've done already, but I will do again on the single rider, and then there's Toxicator and Galactica at the other side of the park as well. But you know what, I'm going to start with Smiler. Those girls have gone to Smiler anyway to do it, but I think one of them's not doing it, so there's just 2 of them going to go on. So if there was 3 of them I would have gone with them and I would have sat with one of them anyway, but I'd be on my own anyhow with 2 of them doing it together and one sitting it out. So I will head over to Smiler and do single rider. So we'll check out when we get there the advertised queue time for standard queue, and then I will make a note of the time I enter the single rider queue and see how long that actually takes, and then we'll note the difference. So let's go check out Smiler. There's Smiler going up now. World record 14 inversions on this ride, maximum speeds of 85 kilometers an hour. Gets you going, and then that's a few of the many inversions. you get a really good sort of photo opportunity of Smiler just around this corner. So I'll go around there and we'll take a look at it going round. But I said before, it's just so compact. This coaster is just so compact, and it uses the space that it's got so well for such a long roller coaster track. And it's just amazing. I think this is my favourite ride here. And it's just from round here that you get a really good view of the whole track. Just look at that. That's got to be like one of the most iconic pictures here at Alton Towers of any ride. Right, so we'll head in. I'll just take a little note of the advertised queue time, which is 20 minutes. So 20-minute queue time for the standard queue, and then I will head into the single rider. So once I'm in the single rider, I will do the ride, make a note of the time, and I'll let you know exactly how long I waited in the single rider compared to the 20 minutes of normal queue time advertised. Okay, so 10:43 I entered the single rider queue here at Smiler, 10:43. So we'll see what time it is when I actually get on the ride, and we'll see if it's much quicker than the standard 20 minutes. So when you get to this point, there is fast track and single rider, and we're left for single rider. So we'll head inside the building and I'll catch up with you when we get out. Okay, so I've just come off Smiler, and wow, just such an awesome ride. But 10:43 we entered into the single rider queue. 10:43, by 10:46, 3 minutes later, I was sat on the roller coaster, ready to go. So 3 minutes. The normal standard queue time is posted at 20, which is quiet in itself anyway. 20 minutes for Smiler on a Sunday. At this time of day, it's about 10 to 11 now. So 20 minutes is like a really good queue time anyhow, but single rider, massively impressed. Single rider, 3 minutes. So let's go check and see if the standard queue is still posted at 20 minutes. And it's a 17-minute reduction. 3 minutes queuing time for Smiler, that's just insane. I think I've been converted to single rider queue, so hopefully they'll all be like that today, because I'll get everything done in the next hour or so. But such a good ride. Love Smiler. 30 minutes now. It's now posting at 30 minutes. 30 minutes, and I did it in 3 with the help of single rider. When I got in the single rider, there was 3 people ahead of me, and that was it. And all 4 of us got let through at the same time, dropped my bag off, went upstairs to the loading bay, and then I was the next person, sort of on the next cycle. I got on at the back row with a family of 3. So well worth doing the single rider on that one. I'll see if it's the same for Oblivion. Oblivion is posting at 25 minutes at the minute, so I will check that out in a second. I'm just waiting for Maisie and Ava to come up here to see what they thought of Smiler, because they was on the cycle just behind me. They was getting on as I was getting off. But 3 minutes, a 3-minute queue for that is insane. I mean, it's a very quiet day for Alton Towers anyway, but on top of that, the single rider was almost instant for the biggest ride here at Alton Towers. Hopefully it's the same for the rest. Okay, and the next ride on the list is Oblivion, just opposite from Smiler, and this is posting at a 20-minute wait, so I'll just capture this coming down, have a little bit of off-ride footage, and then I'll head in and see if this is as good a saving on the single rider queue as Smiler. Okay, so let's head on over. Let's double check the advertised queue time for standard queue, and let's enter the single rider. I still can't get over 3 minutes for Smiler. I don't think I've ever queued anywhere near that for Smiler ever. So this Oblivion is still posting 20 minutes for the standard queue. And then single riders this way. So we'll see just how quick we get on single rider. I do like Oblivion. It's such a short ride though. When you compare it to rides like Baron in Efteling and Shikra at Busch Gardens in Florida, as vertical drop rides go, it's not the best. I mean, it was probably the first, but it's by no means the best. There's just not a lot after the drop. They sort of rely heavily on that drop, and there's not much of a ride after that. It's just the uphill and the little helix type thing to sort of slow your momentum down, but other than that, it is just the drop. It is a good drop, don't get me wrong, but I just wish there was more to it after that. So we'll head on inside now. The time is currently 11:04, so we'll be able to see exactly how long this single rider takes. 11:04 when I entered the queue. So we'll check this out and I'll let you know once I've come off. Okay, just got off Oblivion. The standard queue was advertised at 20 minutes and I did the single rider. When I got to the end of the single rider queue, there was 10 people in front of me, 10 other single riders. And it took us 16 minutes. 16 minutes I was queuing before I got on the ride, and the standard advertised queue time was only 20, so it wasn't necessarily a big saving for a single rider. I tend to only, well, on that one I only saved 4 minutes, but it was still worth doing because it feels like there's no queue in front of you when you've only got a few people in front of you, even if you stood there waiting for a while. But really good ride, enjoyed that. And it's invigorating. That first drop on Oblivion is really good. I just wish there was more after that, but there isn't. But that first drop is really good. And if you've got cobwebs on you when you go on that, they're soon blown off on that first drop. And then there's obviously a water sort of element in it as well. Well, not water, it's like a mist. You go through a big pile of mist. And that sort of livens you up as well and wakes you up a bit. So that is Oblivion done as well, and that was a 4-minute saving. So far Smiler was a 17-minute saving, a 20-minute standard wait and a 3-minute single rider wait, and then Oblivion was a 20-minute standard wait and a 16-minute single rider queue. But having said that, it's an extremely quiet day at Alton Towers today. So 20 minutes for Smiler and 20 minutes for Oblivion anyway on a standard normal queue is like so low. And I've just looked at the other queue times now and I'll pop them on the screen. They're all sort of 10, 15, 20 minutes. I think the longest queue is 30 minutes or 35 for Wicker Man. There is a couple that are not open yet, and we're hoping they will open a little bit later on. But that was really good. So we're going to have a spot of lunch now. I'm going to meet up with the girls, have a spot of lunch, and then I'm going to head over and do some more single riders and see what the queues are like. Okay, so we've had a little stop for some food in the courtyard. I will just mention, every other time we've been to the courtyard for food, where all the tables are under cover, there's been heaters. There's been little buttons that you can push on the wall and it sort of sets off electric heaters above the tables and it makes you nice and toasty warm. There was on a timer, so they lasted, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes or so, and then you push the button again to restart it and it kept you warm while you're in there. Went to push the button's still there, but the heaters have gone, so there's no heaters. So now we're heading through Gloomy Wood and I'm going to head over to Toxicator and Galactica to check the single ride times on those. I think Toxicator's currently posting 15 minutes and Galactica's posting a 5 minutes, so we'll go and see what the single rider's like on those. This is the Gloomy Wood. It's a nice little walk. This used to be quite cool for Halloween. They used to do events in here, like, well, not events, they used to sort of decorate it and put fog machines in and scare actors and things like that, and made it a little bit spooky. But I don't know if they still do that. I don't think they did last time we came for Halloween, year before last, for Scarefest. But yeah, so quiet. Galactica posting a 5-minute wait. I mean, I've got to do single rider because that's the sort of topic of this video today, to see if the single rider is much quicker than the standard queue. But the standard queue for Galactica is posting 5 minutes. So if single rider is less than that, then that's going to be a massive bonus. But I would usually just join the normal queue with these guys, but I've got to do single rider because that's the topic today. And also, I've never done Toxicator before, so Toxicator will be my first time today. Hopefully with single rider I could be almost straight on, especially with it being posting just a 15-minute wait. Nemesis Subterra is also posting a 5-minute wait. The current time, what time is it now? It is 12:04. It's 12:04. And I'm just going to check the current ride times now. So yeah, Subterra, don't know if you can see, I put a picture up on the screen now, but Nemesis Subterra is 5 minutes, Nemesis Reborn is 10, Toxicator is 10, Galactica's 15 now, Smiler 15, Oblivion 25, Wicker Man 30, Rita 35, and currently Spinball Whizzer is on a weather delay because of the wind, I think, and 13 is closed, but we've done 13. But the Smiler 15 minutes, I can't ever remember seeing Alton Towers this quiet. 5 to 15 minutes for most of the big rides. I see the Sky Ride is running now as well. I've not seen this actually running properly for a long time, but it's working now. I might get to go on that in a little bit once I've done all the rides that I want to do and checked all the single riders out. I might actually get on the Sky Ride, just because it's been quite some time since I've done it. It's all been refurbished and reopened, and that it does on the app, it still says that that's closed. It doesn't say that it's open, but there's people on it, so it is running and it has people on it. So here we are. So we're coming into Forbidden Valley where Nemesis Reborn is. I haven't actually done Nemesis Reborn, not since it came back from being Nemesis after the refurbishment. So after I've done Galactica and Toxicator on the single rider in this area, I might actually jump onto Nemesis and just join the normal queue. And it's only posting a 15-minute wait anyway, which is quite a lot less than it usually is. I mean, like I said, I can't ever remember seeing Alton Towers as quiet as it is right now, which is awesome. Great day to come. And it's not as if the weather's bad, it's just a little bit breezy, a little bit dull, but it's not cold by any means. People are still out in t-shirts and vest tops and things. So Nemesis Inferno is posting 10 minutes, 10-minute wait. I don't know whether to just do that now. Shall I jump on that now, or shall I go do the single riders? I'll do the single riders first, just because that's what I really want to do today. But I can't imagine me having to wait too long for Toxicator and Galactica for a single rider. But this is just one of the best themed rides in Alton Towers now. All this refurbishment that they've done, all the money that they've spent on it and the time, it just looks so much better now. I love it. I do need to get on it. Awesome, that. Definitely 100% going to get on that. If it stays open, then it definitely stays at 10 minutes for the wait. 100% getting on that. So I'll head into Toxicator and check out the advertised queue time and the single rider queue time. Never done this before, but the queue is minimal. Absolute minimal. None of this cattle pen at the top on the hill here, look, is being used at all. It's basically just down there. So it is such a short queue. It's such a good day to be here today. It's such a shame that it's not like this very often. Let's go have a look. 10 minutes it's advertised at, a 10-minute wait. I mean, I'm going to join the single rider anyway, just because I want to know the difference, but funnily enough, I might actually end up waiting longer in the single rider than I do for the normal queue if I was to enter the normal queue. The single rider's there. And there's quite a few people in the single rider, so 10 minutes. So I'll head inside and I'll let you know how long I'm in the single rider for before I'm on. Okay, so just come off Toxicator, and 2 points. The single rider on that today especially just didn't work. The queue was posting a 10-minute wait. A normal standard queue was 10-minute wait. I was in the single rider just watching people go through the standard queue over and over again. There was people joining the queue behind me while I was already in the single rider queue. People joining the regular queue, I was watching them, and then they was getting on the ride loads before me, so I ended up waiting 30 minutes. I was waiting for 30 minutes in the single rider while the standard queue was 10 minutes. So the single rider on Toxicator on a day like today 100% does not work. I felt like telling everybody who was joining the single queue behind me to just join the standard queue because it was just so much quicker. People were flying through. At one point it looked like it was almost a walk-on for Toxicator. There was literally hardly any queue at all, so 30 minutes, and the second point on Toxicator is that I just don't think it's worth it. As top spins go, I think there's so many better top spins than Toxicator. Toxicator is nicely themed, and it's in the nice area, and they've sort of themed it to the Nemesis area quite well, and the fact that it's all based around the Nemesis sort of backstory, that's all really good, and the theming of it and the fact that it's powered with the radioactive sort of slime from the alien eggs, that's all really good. The only thing is, the actual ride mechanism itself, the ride part of it, just isn't very good. I'm just not that impressed with it. I think there's so many better top spins around Europe especially. There's a really good one at Phantasialand. There's a really good one at even Doenrail in Netherlands. Phantasialand in Germany and Doenrail in Netherlands have both got better top spins than Toxicator. That's probably one of the worst that I've been on, so I'm not that impressed with Toxicator. So having said that, I did queue in the single rider queue just because that is the point of this video today. I did say I was going to do the single riders, and I did, so 30 minutes for that. And now the next one is Galactica. So Smiler was a really good one to do single rider, and Oblivion was okay. Oblivion saved me a few minutes, but Toxicator, waste of time doing single rider, absolutely. Getting really frustrated just watching everybody get on it, and we were just waiting in the single rider. So Galactica, let's go see what Galactica's posting at, and let's go see what the single rider's like on that. Alright, so Galactica. Again, this is it's a decent coaster, but I'm not massively impressed with it. The speed is quite slow. It's quite a smooth, sort of glidey coaster, but there's just not a lot to it. I'll see if I can get some footage of it coming round. So as I say, 10 minutes queue time on the standard queue for Galactica, and this is the single rider. So I'm really hoping this isn't 3 times the length of queue time as the standard queue. I'll be waiting another half an hour for this one. And I do just have Galactica left to do, and then I'm going to do, for single rider, 13 and Spinball Whizzer. Let's head on into Galactica. It's now 12:57 when I've joined the queue, so let's see how long it takes to get onto Galactica as a single rider. Okay, that is Galactica done. Galactica was posting a 10-minute wait. I did the single rider and I was on immediately. There was literally no wait. I walked the single rider queue, got to the barrier, I was the only one there. As soon as I got there, she opened it and said, number 2, and I went into lane number 2 and got on the next cycle. So I was literally queuing for less than a minute and I was on Galactica. It's so quiet today and such sort of mixed results with the single rider queue. As I say, Smiler was a 3-minute wait, which was awesome. This was an absolute walk-on, which is awesome again. But the queues for those were only 20 and 10 minutes anyway, respectively. But the Toxicator one, I'm just confused at. It would have been much better to just join the normal queue for Toxicator. I'd have got on 3 times in the same time that I was actually waiting for single rider. But that's sort of an isolated incident. All the others have been slightly better or much better to do as single rider than normal. So I'm just going to head over now to Spinball Whizzer. I'm going to walk past Nemesis Reborn, and if Nemesis Reborn is a 10-minute queue, I'm going to go do that straight away. Okay, I'm just walking past Nemesis Reborn and I'm going to have to do it. I will have to pop in. I can't not do this. Let's go check out the wait times for it. Nemesis Reborn doesn't have a single rider queue, so I will just be joining the normal standard queue, but I think it is only around 10 minutes anyhow. So after them 10 minutes, I will head over to Spinball Whizzer and 13, and then that is all the single riders done. Yeah, 10 minutes for Nemesis Reborn, so I'm going to pop onto this now, just because I've never done it. Never done Toxicator, so today's the first time I've ever done Toxicator, and I wasn't massively impressed. It was okay. So yeah, Nemesis Reborn, first time I've ever done it. I've done Nemesis many times when it was the old Nemesis, and the last couple of times that we've been when this has been here, I've just not had a chance to do it. So first time ever doing Nemesis Reborn. Let's see how smooth it is. It does look really good. I just love the colour scheme to it and all the aesthetics of it, like the theming of it. It's really good. And a 10-minute wait. Let's get on to Nemesis Reborn. Just look at it. I love it. Well, I hope I love it. I love the original Nemesis, the one that opened in 95 or whatever, 94, 95, in the mid-90s. I remember there being a massive big sort of press junket about it opening, and it was all over the telly on adverts and things, and everyone was talking about it. There was a load of school trips to come and try Nemesis. So yeah, single rider so far, 100% worth it if you're able to sort of identify where it's not. Like, obviously I knew in Toxicator queue, I knew it was quicker to go in the normal queue. Let's watch this. Yeah, I knew Toxicator would have been quicker to join the normal queue, but for the purpose of this video, I thought I'll stick out the single queue just to see. I knew that it was going to be longer because I could tell within the first 5 minutes. The standard queue was so short anyway, 10-minute queue, and it was flying through. And then, as I say, I did notice people going on the ride that joined the back of the normal queue whilst I was still stood in the single rider queue. So in a normal situation I would have left the single rider queue and gone into the standard queue and gotten a lot quicker. However, for the purpose of this video, I thought I'll stick out the single rider just to see how long it does take compared to the standard queue. And as I say, 3 times as long in the single rider queue, and it was quite frustrating, and I really did just want to tell people behind me to not bother, but I think the staff should maybe do that. He could tell, he knew that the single rider was going to be as long as it was, and he might have just popped over because he was stood there anyway. He was stood there doing nothing for quite a lot of the time, and he could have just popped over and just said, you know, guys, just so you know, the single rider is looking like it's going to be a little bit longer than the standard queue, so if you want to join the standard queue you probably will get on quicker. But no. Anyway, let's get on Nemesis Reborn for the first time, experience this, and then head over and do Spinball Whizzer on single rider and check out the time difference between standard and single rider queue times, and then the same with 13. It just is so nice to see queues where there's no people. It's just nice to walk through queues and carry on walking. I do love these type of days. It's very rare, especially at Alton Towers, it's very rare you get these types of days. Nemesis still posting at a 10-minute wait, but it was literally 2 minutes. 2 minutes to get on, and I was front row, and it was really, really good. I do enjoy Nemesis. It's a really good ride. I just wish it was a little bit longer, but it is still one of the longest rides in Alton Towers, but it's just so sort of, it's got a lot of good pace on it. It's so powerful. It's like really smooth now since the refurb and the retrack, and it was enjoyable, and it was especially good on the front row, and especially even better that it was a 2-minute wait for me. 2 minutes, and this is a Sunday. I've never ever seen Alton Towers this quiet. It is crazy. Okay, so now I've just gone past the Congo River Rapids and we're just going to head over to Spinball Whizzer, but I just wanted to give you a quick update on the times. Bear in mind this is a Sunday in June, and we're looking at, it's now 1:43 in the afternoon. Nemesis Subterra is 5 minutes, Rita 5 minutes, Oblivion 10 minutes, Spinball Whizzer 10 minutes, Wicker Man 10 minutes, Galactica 15, 13 is 15 minutes, Smiler is 15 minutes, and apparently Nemesis Reborn and Toxicator, where I've just come from and just done them both of them 2 rides are currently down. But that is just insane. I will take a screenshot of the queue times now at 1:43, and then I'll pop that on the screen just to show you. I'm not lying, I'm not making this up, this is true. This is a Sunday in June on a nice day, and look at those queue times. That is just ridiculous. Never ever have I ever seen Alton Towers this quiet, like queue times wise. I mean, there's enough people about, it doesn't look any quieter than it usually does, like in all the little public areas and stuff, the walkways and that, but it's just the queue times just so low. So unless the operations are extremely amazing today, it's obviously a lot quieter than it usually is. These guys are on the River Rapids, but I don't know if I'll be able to see them coming round. That's cool. Yeah, Spinball Whizzer. I'm going to feel a bit weird going in the single rider queue now, because that's the standard queue for Spinball Whizzer is only 10 minutes. And it's never 10 minutes. I think the lowest I've ever seen that at this time of day especially, and maybe on opening and closing it's a little bit less, but it's sort of in the middle of the day on a weekend, never 10 minutes for Spinball Whizzer, ever. And this is the one day that I'm trying to try out the single rider options and see if there's much of a difference. Well, I think I've picked very much the wrong day to be checking the single rider queues, because the standard queues are immensely low. Crazy. Let's head over to Spinball Whizzer and just see what the single rider is then. I've got a funny feeling that the single rider for Spinball Whizzer is probably going to be a longer queue than the standard queue, but we'll find that out when we get over there. And I might do Wicker Man. Wicker Man's posting like a 10-minute wait. I might just join the standard queue for that. So crazy that it's just so quiet. I'd love to come back next week or the week after with the rest of the guys, with Kerry, Zach and Albie, and it'd be like this. It's ridiculously quiet. I keep saying it, but I think the thumbnail for this is going to have to be Alton Towers. It's dead. Because to me it feels dead, on the queues anyway. So yeah, Wicker Man's down here, and as I say, I think that's posting a 15-minute wait, and it's like, that's insane. But Spinball Whizzer first. I've got Spinball Whizzer and 13 to do. I have, as I say, I've done 13 already, but not on the single rider, so we didn't actually queue at all for it this morning because it was the very first attraction we did. We were sort of in the first sort of group of people going onto it, so we didn't really queue for that. Maybe a couple of minutes. So we'll see what it's like now as a single rider. But first, Spinball Whizzer. Spinball Whizzer is a weird one for single rider because there's just two of you on each side of the car. Each one of the carriages on the track holds 4 people, 2 one side, 2 the other. So if there's a family of 3, that'll be me stuck on with those, and I'll just be with the rando on the other side while the other 2 family members are the other side. But if I join the standard queue, it'll be the same situation. I'll still be with people I don't know anyway, so that's the whole point of a single rider. You just fill up an empty seat. So we're going to head over there now and see. Let's see what the score is. I'm just walking past the Sky Ride now, so I'm just going to have a quick look to see what the queue's like for that, because it's been such a long time since I've done it, and I'm doing Spinball Whizzer this side, so I could come back here and get on the Sky Ride and then get off near 13 and then go do that, but it looks like there's hardly any queue for that, to be honest. It's pretty much straight on the Sky Ride. I don't know. I mean, it would only be a sort of 5-6 minute walk from Spinball Whizzer across the 13, but I might do that, do Spinball Whizzer, go to 13, do the single rider, and then I've done everything, all the single riders that I want to do today. And then I might get on the Sky Rider from that area over near 13, well, opposite, near the burger place, heading towards Williams Land. I don't know if those guys, the girls, are going to go do Gangster Granny. I think they said they was going to try, and that was only posted at a 5-minute wait as well. It's just so quiet. Okay, so now we're just heading up towards Spinball Whizzer. We're going to check the queue times. I'll see what it says for standard queue and enter into single rider, and probably wait longer than the standard queue. But all for the cause of this video. So Spinball Whizzer. It's posting, I don't know, the standard queue is posting 25 minutes now. So that's almost back to normal. A good 15-20 minutes, probably less than usual at this time of day on a weekend, at least. But I'm going to try and find where the single rider is now. I think it might be here, look, to the right of the sign. Single riders, so we'll head in here. 25 minutes for standard queue. And let's head into the single rider. And let's see just how long this takes me. It looks like it is probably going to be slightly longer than 25 minutes, but we'll see. There's 5 people in front of me for single rider. Yeah. Okay, that is Spinball Whizzer done. Posted at a 25-minute wait for a standard queue, and I joined the single rider queue. There was 5 people ahead of me at the time, and it took 6 minutes. I joined the queue at 1:54 and I was sat on the ride at 2 p.m. So 6 minutes as opposed to the 25. So that was another triumph for the single rider queue as well. And there's even less people in it now. I think there's only 2 people in the single rider queue now, so good. Okay, so the only one that's left to do now on single rider is 13, which we're heading over now. I'm just walking across the field in front of the towers. In summary, so far, the 5 that I've done, the 5 single rider queues, they've been awesome with the exception of Toxicator. I have also done Nemesis, not on a single rider, but that was like literally a walk on. 2 minutes and I was on. So, as I say, I think I've picked the wrong day to be sort of trialing the single rider queues, just because everything's so quiet anyway. You're not benefiting as much as you usually would by using the single riders on a day like this, because the queues are so minimal anyway, and it's like the 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes. So if it was like an hour and a half, like quite often they are at Alton Towers, and the single riders are 10, 15, 20, even 30 minutes, it's worth it. Single rider only needs to be 10 minutes today, and it's literally not worth doing the single rider as opposed to the standard queue. So I'm doing them anyway just to see the difference, and obviously the ones that I've done other than Toxicator have been quicker than the normal standard queue, whether it be by just a few minutes or by quite a lot like Smiler. But there's just 13 left to do now, so we'll head over to 13, see what the standard queue time is for that, get in the single rider, see the difference, and then see what else I can do with the rest of my single lonely day. Okay, just gone past Rita, and Rita's posting at 20 minutes and 13 is posting at 25. 25 minutes for 13. Main entrance to the left, single rider, fast track and RAP to the right. So let's head this way. Let's see what the single rider's at. If the standard's at 25 minutes, we'll see what the single rider's at. Never done single rider before on any of the rides at Alton Towers before today, and I think other than Toxicator, which, as I said, I would have identified that earlier and left that queue and joined the standard one would I have been here on a normal sort of situation. With me recording a video all about single rider queues and how different they are, I had to stick it out in Toxicator, but I wouldn't in normal circumstances. But other than that, everything else is awesome and so worth doing single rider on pretty much exactly everything else. Even Toxicator on a normal day, I would have waited 30 minutes in single rider, which I did today, but usually the queue for that would be a little bit more than 30 minutes. On a busy weekend anyway, definitely more, but let's see what the single rider's at for 13. I'm hoping almost straight on. The queue does look a little bit bigger than 25 minutes for standard queue, but single, there's I think 2 people ahead of me in the queue now for single. Okay, just come off 13, posted at a 25-minute wait for standard queue, and with single rider it was almost a practical walk on. I was waiting 2 minutes to get on, and I was very back row, so that was another one that was well worth doing as well. 2 minutes to get on 13, 3 minutes to get on Smiler. It's just crazy. It has started to rain a little bit now. Clouds are still there. And the thing I did notice, there was a couple of people in the queue next to me in the standard queue when I approached to do the single rider and get on, like at the front of the queue where the ride attendant was, and he said to me, fast pass or single rider? I said single rider, and he said, okay, put your bag in there and up you go. And then there was people in the queue next to me in the standard queue, and they said to the ride attendant, oh, I'm a single, should I go in the single rider as well? But they'd already queued for 25 minutes in the standard queue, so I think there's not a lot of awareness about the single rider option here at Alton Towers. It's not something they sort of actively advertise and encourage people to use a lot, I don't think. So that's it. I've done all the single rider options that there is to do now at Alton Towers. All 6 rides I've done, and every single one of them was worth doing except Toxicator. So I would highly recommend using the single rider, even if you're not a single rider. I mean, especially if you are. Like I said, there was a lot of people in that 13 queue, and I've noticed in another queue that I was in, I can't remember which one it was, but one earlier. I think it was Oblivion, where single riders were queuing in the standard queue, just the normal queue, even though they're on their own. So if you're a single rider, it's 100% worth using it on those 6 attractions if you want to do them. But even if you're not, even if you're in a group, you still get to queue in a group, and you still get to sort of socialise as you're waiting for the ride. The only time that you will most likely be on your own is when you're actually on the ride anyway, experiencing the ride. So it's well worth doing, even if you're in a group or a family. Okay, I'm just heading toward the Sky Rider now. I think I might pop on. If there's not much of a queue, I'm going to pop on just so I can experience it, because it's been quite a while since I've been in one of these Sky Rider capsules. And it'll be nice to experience it. And depending on the queue size, I might just get on for a little sit down. And I've done all 6 single rider queues now, so I'll talk about that in a second. But the only biggie now, the only big ride that's still left for me to do is Wicker Man, and that is currently posting a 25-minute wait for Wicker Man. Subterra is 5 minutes, and everything else I've pretty much done. I think Hex is posting a 5-minute wait. Gangster Granny is a 5-minute wait, and everything else I've already done. So yeah, single rider. Would I recommend single rider? Absolutely, 100%. I would recommend single rider queue at Alton Towers. As I say, never done it before. Today's the first time I've ever done it. I just thought, as I'm coming on my own anyway, with the 3 girls are going to go off and do their own thing, I thought whilst I'm going to be riding as a single rider, I may as well experience the single rider queues. And with the obvious exception of Toxicator, I'm converted. I'm converted to a single rider queue person. Smiler, like, set the bar. 3-minute wait for Smiler, unbelievable. As I say, it's one of the quietest days I've ever known for Alton Towers anyway. Just the normal standard queue is like amongst the lowest that I've ever seen it. So as opposed to a quiet day and a busy day, I don't know whether it would still be as good to use single rider on a busy day. I would assume it would probably be better. You just don't know if more people would choose the single rider on an extremely busy day to sort of avoid the big queues, so you never really know. But all I'm going by is today. Today's an extremely quiet day. I would say definitely the quietest I've seen Alton Towers, but me using the single rider has obviously made it sort of so much simpler to tick off all the rides. I mean, it's about 2:30 now, 2:30, and I've already done Toxicator, Smiler, Oblivion, Galactica, Nemesis, 13 twice, Rita, Spinball Whizzer, and I would like to do Wicker Man. I might go and see if I can do Wicker Man. I might pop into the Sky Ride now. I think I've just seen Maisie and her 2 friends in the queue for Sky Rider. So I might pop on that and then head over to the other side of the park. But yeah, in summary, single rider, 100% worth doing. Especially if you're single, well, not if you're single, if you're a couple. If you're in a relationship, you can still do it, but especially if you are riding as a single rider, don't queue in the standard queue for those 6 attractions. Toxicator, Smiler, Oblivion, Galactica, Spinball Whizzer, and 13. You could do single rider on every single one of those, and other than Toxicator, I've saved a bunch of time overall. And Toxicator is just a freakishly low queue today, so 10 minutes for Toxicator, and it didn't even look that at some point. It was posted at 10, but it was looking like it was 5. And on a normal situation, I would have just got into that standard queue at that sort of low queue times. Okay, so I've just walked over through the gardens, had a little look in the gardens, and then come over to Wicker Man. I'm just going to check the queue times for Wicker Man, and I might pop into the queue for that. It's 25 minutes for Wicker Man, apparently. 25 minutes. I don't know whether I'm that fussed about it, to be honest. I've done pretty much everything I want to do. Wicker Man is the only biggie that I still haven't done today, but as good as it is a good wooden coaster. It's 25-minute waits, and I've been a little bit spoiled today and not had to wait that long, other than Toxicator. I wish Wicker Man did have a single rider. I don't understand why it hasn't. I don't understand what criteria a ride meets, or what decisions are made to make a ride have a single rider queue. or not, but this is Wicker Man. I'll watch it go round and then I make a decision whether I go on it or not, or whether I end the vlog here. Now we've discovered that a single rider queue, 100% worthwhile. I love all the smoke effects and the flame screens inside the wood, making it look like that it's burning. I don't know if they still do, but they used to have a genuine flame at the top there as well, coming out the top. Actual fire. But there has been an incident, I think it was last season, where it did actually catch fire slightly from the flame. So they might have taken that effect away now, but it has still got the smoke and like obviously the sort of fire screens inside that makes it look like the wood's on fire. It's really well themed and it's a really nice looking ride. And it is a good fast-paced wooden coaster. I think a wooden coaster is what Alton Towers has needed for a long time. And I think it was quite a popular decision when they decided to get rid of the log flume that used to be here and put a wooden coaster here. And it is a good one. There is many other wooden coasters in Europe that I probably would prefer. Joris and de Draken Efteling is a really good wooden coaster. So is Troy at Toverland and Untamed at Walibi Holland. I think I would put all those three wooden coasters ahead of Wicker Man. Now just waiting for the train to go around. I don't know where it is. There we go, it is going round. But I think as far as today goes, I think I'm going to call that a day. It's about 3 o'clock now, just gone 3 o'clock, 3:15, and I've done pretty much everything that I want to do. I probably would do Wicker Man, but I'm not that fussed. I might go sit down somewhere and wait for the girls to finish and maybe edit this video. But we've done so much on a Sunday. I know I've used the single rider queues, but the girls haven't. Maisie and Ava and Neve have not used the single rider, and they've done more attractions than me. So given that it's a really quiet day, I've got so much done. It's been a really good day, and we're at the point now where we're thinking, well, do we go do re-rides, or do we do something that we're not 100% fussed about? But I'm just going to go take a seat and wait for those guys to do whatever they want to do. I've done all 6 single riders, so that concludes the Alton Towers vlog for today. The single rider exploration video, 100% worth it. Let me know in the comments down below if you've used it before. Let me know if you knew about it or if you didn't. A lot of people don't seem to know about it and don't use it to its full potential. But as I say, there's 6 now. They only introduced the 3 other ones this season. Up until this season there was only 3 single rider queues here at Alton Towers. I think last season they introduced Spinball Whizzer to the other 2. And then I think this season they've obviously put Toxicator in there, Oblivion and Galactica, and so now there's 6. And as you've seen in this video, I've done all 6 today. Every single one of them was worth it except Toxicator. So if you are going to use it, bear in mind Toxicator might be worth having a look at the normal queue as well and just assessing where you are. If you've got 2 or 3 people in front of you on Toxicator in the single rider queue and the standard queue is 15-20 minutes or less, go for the standard. I had about 5 or 6 people in front of me. A few people did leave the single rider queue to go to the normal queue who was in front of me. They figured what I'm telling you now, it's quicker just to go in the standard queue, so they left the single rider queue, went into the normal queue, and they got on much quicker than me, but I stuck it out for the purpose of this video. So usually I wouldn't have, but if you're going to do it, the other rides were all 100% worth it, 100%, and it's just so much nicer to not have that stress of the big queue. And yeah, that's it. That's the single rider video done for Alton Towers. My first experience doing it, and it's been really good. As I say, let me know in the comments if you've used it before. If you haven't, let me know your thoughts on it. If you've got any questions about it, pop them in the comments down below. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did, please pop a like on it and do consider subscribing. We've got a lot more content coming up. We do a lot of theme parks. I think next month we have got Thorpe Park, Legoland and Chessington to go and do. We've booked that. That's all ready to go. So we will be doing that at the beginning of the summer holidays with the kids. So stick around for that, and hope to see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for joining me at Alton Towers, and until next time, we will see you on the next one from a very quiet, insanely quiet Alton Towers. Thank you, and see you later. Goodbye.